I grew up, when I had my first child, when I grocery shopped and I got my first house, that's how I shop. I always just, when you go in the store, I'm looking for ketchup, whichever one was the cheapest. You go over there, I'm looking for, I was never taught to look at the ingredients on the bottles or cans and look at what's in it and know what you put in your bottle. I wasn't taught that. If you got a bottle of ketchup and it's $1.97, but you got one that's $1.09, get the one that's $1.09. You go cheap, right? And this was just because of what I saw. And so, as I grew up and I had children, I'm feeding my kids the same bullshit I was fed. Same stuff in boxes and cans that got all these preservatives and chemicals that's not good for you. If I could get some pears in the can for 97 cents or 67 cents as a canned good versus buying 2 or 3 pears for $5, I'm going to get it in a can. Just because I thought what you do is when you go in the store, you get as many groceries as possible. You want it to last. This was the welfare food stamp mindset.
Make it last.
This how we shop. And now that I'm older, I have to apologize to my kids. I put so much poison in y'all bodies, man. Like, it's so much shame and guilt that I carry when I realize how I'm supposed to be feeding my children, what I'm supposed to be. I had to tell them. And now I'm so big on showing them. I watch what I put in my body now, but when I ain't know no better, I was poisoning y'all. I was with the mother title and all, with them dressed up and all. I was poisoning them, buying bullshit, feeding it to them day after day. When you grow up,
you the kids about this stuff, and I talk to my son, even his friends when they come around me, even other people kids when I see that, because I only give so much about when it comes to nutrition and all that stuff right there, because like just going through just childhood to adulthood and growing up with my mama, like I had 10 cabinets. I ain't understand no dentist. I ain't understand none of that shit. And the one time that she took me, they drilled it in my damn mouth like I'm at a mechanic shop. And I was like, fuck that. I ain't going no goddamn dentist no more. But I took care of my teeth because I just analyzed that shit like, okay, if I take care of my teeth, I ain't got to come back here. But I ain't know what had been done to my mouth until the fillings fall out. Now my jaw hurt. And going through all that pain and everything, that right there taught me a lesson on what my mama didn't teach me. It taught me all that shit. So I was like, I'm just assuming, like, why the fuck my mouth is fucked up? Is it because of the holes? You know what I mean? Like, because of these tools they put in my mouth? I don't know nothing about nothing. So I'm just thinking about this stuff.
Yeah, it is it's a lot of stuff that, I could say it was because I didn't know. But as a parent, I ain't do well at it. And the problem is in our community, it is frowned upon for us to just admit when we did not do well at something. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to express. And when you grow, you realize there is brushing your teeth, but there's also paying attention to what's in the toothpaste. There's also understanding oil pulling, the proper way to floss, but also being in a space where you understand the value in brushing throughout the day. If you eat multiple meals, not just at night and when you wake up in the morning, right? There is also understanding the value in going to get your teeth cleaned at the dentist. A lot of kids, especially in our community, they know, we go to the dentist like once a year to get a cleaning. But when you grown, you don't realize like a lot of times paying for additional dental visits based on how you actually care for your mouth or what you eat or how you eat or, your lifestyle, it can save you a lot of problems in the long run. Not understanding certain things about a bad tooth can create an infection, not just in your mouth, but in your fucking bloodstream. There are so many things that, we keep repeating the bad behavior because it's not a safe space within our community to talk about the wrongs of our elders, the ways that they move that we shouldn't keep moving. I remember when, I got to a point where from growing up broke, you just want to have. You just won't. Like there was a spirit on me where it's like, bro, we didn't have much growing up. I remember my mama, about her having 3 kids. A lot of times, like we got told no because it wasn't enough for all 3 of us, which is, understandable when you look back as to what they were up against during their time. But I'm in a different time, but I'm consumed with materialism. And so for a while in my life, all of that was unethical, that was not safe, that was from a space of just, really, it looked like I was well off, but I was really just surviving. So, from a space of dabbing in the streets and things like that, like I remember a season of my life where, you know, I was making a lot of money off of selling drugs and maneuvering through the streets. And the people that, you know, I value being around were people that they did the same. And it put me in a lot of unsafe situations. And I put my children in a lot of unsafe situations. And as a mother, right, I owe them the conversation because I can't go back and undo it. But I owe them the conversation and say, hey, look, certain stuff we went through, y'all weren't supposed to experience that. I probably was, but y'all wasn't. It ain't had nothing to do with y'all. It had everything to do with being associated with me. So this is why when you hear mama say, be careful who you associate with, it ain't cause something wrong with other people and ain't nothing wrong with us. Y'all done went through shit by way of association with me. So you got to look at anybody, mama included, on how they moving. I remember me and my children were home invaded because of stuff I had going on with the streets. You know what that felt like for children? Home invaded. 2, 3 niggas. Back door kicked in. Fire up on everybody. Right? Where the money at? We seen X, Y, and Z. Where that bread at? And I remember having to, yeah, bitch, you talk a lot. Now talk your way out of this one. I remember me talking to myself in the moment. Oh, you got to get yourself up out of this one. These kids in here. I did that. My kids ain't do that. Ain't no nigga do that to me. I did that. My choices. And so this was a big lesson where I'm able to tell my kids, be careful who you associate with. It's why you can't just stay the night at people's house and things like that. Because them people might have some shit going on like I had going on.
And you know what's crazy though, love? Because it can even be your own family that puts you in situations. Because a situation like that happened to me. You know, grandma house. That's everybody.
Know where you live at? Yep.
Yes, my grandma passed, and my brother started trapping out of my grandma house. He gambling. They having game night in the house or whatever. Man, next thing you know, he done got into it with one of the niggas he was gambling with. Man, next thing you know, they come back shooting the house up. I'm in the house. And I'm like you said, just by what you doing and, you know, who you associate yourself with. Like,
choices.
Even though I wasn't even trying to even be involved in that.
But you got to be mature enough to be accountable. Like, I didn't care to explain to here's why this happened. No, this shit happened because of me. The way I moved, the choices I made, the stuff I valued. I value money, right? At that season in my life, I valued money over almost everything else in regard. So I built relationships with people that they valued money. When you got your life set up where everybody is all about money, it ain't about self-improvement. It ain't about we trying to have shit. And in order to have shit, you got to have money to buy the shit. And that's what we own. People will snake you out about money. Rather they close to you, rather they not. Like when your life is, I did that. A lot of us ain't woman enough to be honest that it ain't always about what a man did wrong or how a man wasn't there based on what our kids went through. And it's funny in our culture, when a child turns out great, mama at the forefront taking credit. But when a child turn out bad, mama ain't at the forefront. It's blamed on the absent father, right? But if everything go good and the absent father get no credit, then when everything go bad, why you ain't equally excited to take the credit for that? I got to take the credit for the good and the bad in regards to things that my kids went through around me. Regardless of you know, where the other parent is or what the other parent has going on. This is the accountability I got to show up with for them to value being accountable themselves. I got to practice what I preach. A lot of us wasn't raised with this going on. And so we see, you know, us as we're trying to re-raise ourselves. We have a lot of struggles trying to fix certain things about ourselves and even speak on certain stuff without going into but. Yeah, that was my fault, but accountability don't come with no motherfucking buts. Either it was on you and it's your job to fix it or not. Draw the line.
That's a bitch right there. I ain't gonna hold you.
Pick a side of the fence. Either you did it or you didn't. Either it's on you to fix it or not.
Nah, it's on us. Even if we say it ain't on it, it's on us.